The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Let me just say, after viewing distorting the belt, they're proclaiming the real world champion. I'm going to tell you all, with a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life. When you walk around this world and you tell everybody you're number one, the only way you get to stay number one is to be number one.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Captain Lou Extravaganza. Welcome aboard on this Monday, June the 26th, 2023. Hope you had a great weekend. We are brought to you, as always, here on the Captain Lou Sports Network by MahlerBros.com. Go to MahlerBros.com if you want to look good on the golf course. When you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you might play good. Play a little bit better. That's MahlerBros.com. Check out their selection of polos and T-shirts as well as swag. They've got coffee mugs, cups, you name it. Also coffee as well. And when you go to MahlerBros.com, make sure you use the promo code BELLYUP for 15% off of your purchase. We're also brought to you, as always, by Javi Coffee. It's the next greatest thing in instant coffee. Easier than pods, tastes better than gourmet coffee. Just a couple of teaspoons and you're set to go. Hot or cold, rather. That is Javi Coffee. They've got all different kinds of flavors. Salted caramel, French vanilla, regular decaf, just to name a few. And when you're there, use the promo code Captain Lou for 15% off of your purchase. That is JaviCoffee.com. It's a Major League Baseball look here today on this Monday. Hope you all had a great weekend. We got our poll question today on Twitter and on Facebook. And it reads basically, with the way it's going now in Major League Baseball, will we ever see another 3,000 career hit leader or a 300-game winner in Major League Baseball? Freddie Freeman got his 2,000th hit last night for the Dodgers against the Houston Astros, and it made me think a little bit about will we see that milestone again? We'll talk a little more about that a little later on in the show as baseball starting to get towards the 4th of July. That means about halfway through. We'll go through the standings and talk a little bit about what went on in the world of Major League Baseball. And we'll kind of touch on the New York Mets a little bit. Are they an abject failure? According to the Met fans, they're all about ready to jump off the Mackinac Bridge. But is it too late to turn things around? And that $350 million payroll, will there be time for them to rebound and get into the wild card race in Major League Baseball? That and had a chance to talk or watched a little bit of USFL football over the weekend. The Michigan Panthers taking on the Pittsburgh Maulers in one playoff game, and the other one, the Birmingham Stallions, took on the New Orleans Breakers to set up the USFL Championship game. We'll talk about that. And what brought the attention to me was some of the rules that they've got, and see maybe if they'll adapt any of their thinking. Will the NFL pick up on any of that in the next couple of years? So we'll talk a little about that a little bit later on in the show. Again, we are live here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. I invite you to check us out there with all the things that we've got going on. We've got a special announcement coming up on Friday. We're going to be debuting a new show a little bit later on towards the end of the summer. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that on Friday. So we invite you to stick around to hear about more of that. It's going to be another show to our our list of shows here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. So we'll talk a little bit more on Friday about that. And so we got a lot going on there. So we invite you to subscribe to our channel here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. We are powered up, as always, by Belly Up Sports. I invite you to check out our website, bellyupsports.com, as we've got a complete list of shows there. Great group of podcasters, great group of shows. 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, no credentials required. The Corner Booth, just to name a few. Theater and college hoops. We've got a lot of them going on all year round. So we invite you to check that out. Check out our list of podcasts, and also check out the latest articles we have on the Captain Lou, or on on bellyupsports.com. All the sports we cover, Major League Soccer, the Premier League Soccer, car racing, auto racing, pro golf, you name it. The four major sports here in the United States. Football season coming around the corner. Always talking pro football. We've got, about a month or so before training camp. And then, of course, college football will be starting up their quote-unquote training camp in August. It's going to be here before you know it. So make sure you check out Belly Up Sports for our complete list of articles there as well. Major League Baseball, again, this weekend. It was an interesting weekend for Major League Baseball. A big series in Cincinnati over the weekend. And it was the Atlanta Braves and the Cincinnati Reds. Both those two teams came in, the hottest two teams in Major League Baseball. First night was a slugfest. Ellie De La Cruz was the spotlight. And I'll tell you what, this guy is amazing. Joey Votto was on another show. I think it was on Dan Patrick. I watched him a week or so ago. And he said, watch out for this guy. He's going to have the power. He's going to be an up-and-comer. And he showcased it on Thursday, he hit for the cycle in an 11-7 win for Cincinnati over Atlanta. And then Atlanta responded on Saturday and Sunday with some home runs of their own. I think they had 4 on Saturday and then a big one by Matt Olson on Sunday. And they took 2 out of 3 from the Cincinnati Reds. And so the Braves asserting themselves now in the National League as one of the top teams in all of Major League Baseball. As we look at the Major League Baseball standings, see if I can bring those up here. I thought I had them right in front of me, but let's see if I can't get those standings up in Major League Baseball. There we go. Now with Atlanta taking 2 out of 3 from Cincinnati, the Braves are now 50-27. They're the second team in Major League Baseball to get to the 50-win plateau behind the Tampa Bay Rays. They've now got a 6-game lead over the Miami Marlins. And what can you say about Miami? They won a couple, and they're on a 2-game winning streak, 7-3 in their last 10, as they're at 45-34, and they're sitting pretty good for a wild card spot. And now it just begs the question with Miami, with a month to go before the trade deadline, are they going to be buyers now to try to make a playoff push? They're sitting pretty good. They got the top wild card spot right now in Major League Baseball. They are 2.5 games ahead of the San Francisco Giants. Actually, a half game ahead, I'm sorry. But they're right there with the Giants, and then they've got a game lead over the Dodgers. So they're sitting pretty good for a wild card spot. Then they've got about a 5-game cushion on Milwaukee. So I would say that they might be a player for the wild card spot. But don't count out the Philadelphia Phillies. They're at 40-37 right now in the American League, or in the National League East. 10 games out of the division lead, but they're right there in the playoff hunt. And we all know what happened last year with the Philadelphia Phillies. They ended up going in all the way to the World Series. So it's just a matter of now if they can stay relevant right around the trade deadline, and then who knows, maybe make that push again in September. A lot is going right now for the Philadelphia Phillies. A lot of time left for them to try to get back into it. But they're only about 4 games out of the top wild card spots. They're only 2.5 games out, just like Milwaukee, who is at 40-37. So the Reds, they lost 2 out of 3 after winning 12 straight. Their longest winning streak in 60-some years, I believe. They're right now at 41-37, on top of the very middling National League East, or National League Central rather. The Cubs, they split with the St. Louis Cardinals over the weekend in London. And so they're in third place right now with a record of 37-39. Did you get a chance to watch either one of those games between the Cubs and the Cardinals over in London? You know, I honestly got to tell you, there wasn't a whole lot of, I don't know, they didn't really promote it that well, in my opinion. The series with the Cubs and the Cardinals over in London. I didn't know about it until, to be honest with you, about the middle of last week. And I just happened to be turning the game on Saturday. I forgot about it. Turned on ESPN and just for something to look at. I'm like, holy cow, the game's on already. And lo and behold, there it was. Actually, the Sunday, I believe, the game was on. And I'm thinking, wow, okay. And so I watched a little bit of it. And, this game, the Cubs were not able to beat say they won on Saturday 9-1. Then they had their ace on the mound, Marcus Stroman, on Sunday. I think he's got the league leading ERA 2.86 or something like that. And he ended up leaving the game with a blister. And the Cardinals were able to get a split in London. So, and it looked like there was a pretty good crowd on Sunday. They had a couple of good days for baseball. The beautiful day yesterday over in London. I guess my question is, will they continue to do these games overseas? I know they do, they usually do a couple of games in Mexico or a couple of series. I know they're talking about going to Australia next year. Is that something that you think might catch on? I know they've played a couple of games over in Japan too. They're trying to take a page out of Major League Baseball, or I'm sorry, the NBA's book, and NHL I know is going over to Sweden for a few games again next year. Is that something you want to see? Do you really care? I guess is the question. And, it was a little different. But again, I think if Major League Baseball decides to do that, they should probably maybe promote it a little bit more. I know that a lot of the attention has been focused on the NBA with the NBA Finals and the NHL with the Stanley Cup Finals. And then, of course, we had the NBA draft this past Thursday. But not a lot of attention was really, I don't know. I just think they dropped the ball a little bit on promoting this weekend series over in England. They got a really good crowd. But, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see if this is something they continue to do each year, or will the novelty of it wear off by going to England every year. I know the NFL, the novelty hasn't worn off. It's a huge hit over there, as well as Germany. But we all know the NFL is king right now with all the professional sports here in the United States. So, well, it's something that we need, something we'll talk about a little bit here, a little bit later on. But it was interesting. So, again, Major League Baseball over in England, the Cubs and the Cardinals, one of the big rivalries of all time in Major League Baseball. Maybe not as big as New York and Boston, but I know that Major League Baseball would never put those two teams over there. But probably the second best rivalry right now in Major League Baseball, historically anyways, Cubs and Cardinals, and they split over there. So a quick look at the standings again in Major League Baseball. If we could take a quick peek at those again. We got the Atlanta Braves right now, as we mentioned, on top. In the National League West, the Arizona Diamondbacks still holding court. 2.5 game lead over the San Francisco Giants and a 3-game lead over the Los Angeles Dodgers. I don't think there's any time, no need to push the panic button yet if you're the Dodgers. Again, it's early, like we mentioned, with the Phillies. They're sitting in a wild card spot right now. I don't know. We talked about this at the beginning of the year with the Dodgers, maybe trying to transition over to more of a younger team. They still have Clayton Kershaw. So they've got a lot of, they've got the leadership there. They still have, they've got a decent pitching staff. 5-5 in their last 10. So I'm not counting out the Dodgers at all. Still just 3 games out of first place. The big question is going to be, can Arizona with their young squad, can they hold up? 15 games over 500, definitely one of the surprises in Major League Baseball. So Arizona up 2.5 over the Giants and 3 games over the Dodgers. In the American League, you've got Tampa Bay again. The Tampa Bay Rays at 54-27. 4.5 game lead over the Baltimore Orioles. 9.5 on the Yankees and 10 on the Blue Jays. Right now, if Major League Baseball if the season ended, you would have all 4 of those teams in the playoffs. The Orioles, the Yankees, and the Blue Jays would all get wild card spots, as the Houston Astros are a half game behind the Toronto Blue Jays for that last playoff spot as a wild card. In the Central, the poorest division in all of Major League Baseball, the Twins took 2 out of 3 off the Tigers this past weekend. Our Tigers came in hoping possibly to gain some ground. It looked like they were going to win that series yesterday, up 3-2 in the eighth, but Nick Maton booted a ground ball from third base, threw it wild. Minnesota ended up getting the tying run in the eighth inning. Then they scored 3 in the top of the 10th. They beat the Tigers to take 2 out of 3. The Tigers, after the game, sent Nick Maton down to the minors. He was part of that trade earlier this year with the Phillies, as the Detroit dealt them Gregory Soto, their closer. The Tigers now 5.5 games out of first, as they are 10 games under 500. So that tells you how poor the American League Central it really is. Cleveland in second place, only 2 out, 37-40, kind of underachieving a little bit. We asked at the beginning of the year, could Cleveland hold up? They've got a great young pitching staff, and they're trying to hold their own right now. The White Sox are 6 games out, a half game behind Detroit in the Central Division. And in the West, the Texas Rangers still holding court, even though they've lost a couple of games in a row. A 5.5 game lead over the Houston Astros. Texas 47-30, probably one of the surprise teams in the American League. The Angels are 6 games back at 42-37. There's a look at Major League Baseball in the standings. We want to kind of switch gears a little bit before we get into our poll question that we had at the beginning of the broadcast, which is there going to be another 3,000 career hit achiever in Major League Baseball? And are we going to have another 300-game winner in Major League Baseball? That's our poll question right now. You can look at it live here on our Twitter feed, which is at The Real Captain Lou, or on our Facebook page, the Captain Lou Extravaganza. And right now, the poll is saying, 55% of you say there will be another 3,000 hit, someone to achieve 3,000 career hits. 55% of you say that. 20% say yes to both. And 20% say never, we will never see one again. And 5% say we will indeed see a 300-game winner. We'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later on. Want to talk about the New York Mets. It seems like, the national, obviously being in the New York media and one of the biggest spenders in Major League Baseball, are they considered a failure right now? If you look at the standings, they are they're in 4th place right now in the National League East. They're at 35-42, 7 games under 500. And you look at that game yesterday against the Phillies. You talk about Detroit making the errors. This was kind of a comedy of errors for the Mets. And the New York fan base, they want an instant winner, just like the Philadelphia fan base and all of other professional sports. 35-42, 15 games out with that payroll, a $350 million payroll. You look at the Mets with their pitching staff, of course, you've got Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander. They're the ones under the microscope. $85 million in salary between the two. Scherzer right now pitching pretty good, 7-2. He's got an ERA of 3.95, a little bit high for what he normally does. He's got 76 strikeouts and 16 walks. Justin Verlander struggling a little bit now. He started off the year on the injured list. He's had 9 starts. He's got a record right now of 2-4, 4.50 ERA. That's the one that kind of stands out with Verlander. I don't know if he's lost a step, if you will, but those are the two you kind of look at. You got Singh at 6-5, Tyler McGill at 6-4, but Verlander and they put a lot of eggs in their basket with Verlander and Scherzer to carry him, that pitching staff. And unfortunately right now, Verlander not being able to deliver. And I look at, the batting, I don't know. You've got Pete Alonso's having a decent year, 24-55. Then you've got Brandon Nimmo with a batting average of 283. They're leading the way, but Francisco Lindor, he's hitting 221, 15 home runs and 52 RBIs, but not hitting for average. Sterling Marte, he's hitting 258. What are the Mets going to do now? 7 games under 500. Do they blow it up? I don't know. Do they try to trade for assets right now? If you would have told me the Mets would be sellers at the trade deadline at the beginning of the year, I'd have told you you're crazy. I know there's a lot of time left. We said it before. They're not that far out of a wild card spot. If you look at the standings right now in Major League Baseball, the Mets are 9 games behind the Marlins for the top wild card spot. So they're about 7.5 games out of a wild card spot right now. And we haven't made it to July. 3 months left to go, in the regular season. Are they going to be sellers, though, at the trade deadline? Can they make a push for what they have? They got the salary cap or salary luxury tax that they're going to have to pay on this $350 million. Steve Cohen's not afraid. He showed he's not afraid to spend money. But the Mets right now, they're the big topic. Are they a failure? Can they make a turnaround? A lot of folks had them pegged to overtake the Atlanta Braves to win that division or possibly make a deep playoff run. I don't see it happening. If they can still turn it around, but I guess the biggest question in New York is, are they going to be sellers at trade deadline time, which is coming up a month from now. So we'll keep an eye on that. Well, we want to welcome everybody again for joining us here on the Captain Lou Extravaganza here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. And on this Monday, June the 26th, 2023. Hope you all had a great weekend. I know that I have. I did anyways. Kind of a relaxing weekend. Got a chance to watch a little baseball, a little golf, and a little USFL football. And we'll talk about the USFL a little bit later on here in the show. We want to talk a little bit right now about Mahler Bros Golf, MahlerBros.com. We still got a lot of the summer left. First day of summer was last week. So you still got a lot of time to get out on the golf course or maybe go to one of those summer barbecues or going out to the lake or whatever. And while you're doing that, you want to feel good when you go out there, don't you? You're playing on the second 9 or emergency 9 maybe on a Saturday or whatever day. And boy, it's hot and you're sweaty and you're thinking, man, you don't feel right. Or if you're going out on the boat or maybe going to that barbecue and you're not feeling comfortable. Well, I have the answer for you, MahlerBros.com. They've got a great supply of polo shirts, T-shirts, sleek. You can have any kind of design you want, a loud design or maybe a more of a conservative look. And boy, once you get that on, man, you're going to feel good. And when you're on the golf course, when you feel good, after you look good. When you look good, you play good. I'm telling you, it gives you that added edge. That is MahlerBros.com. And while you're there, make sure you use the promo code BELLYUP, and you'll get 15% off of your purchase. That is MahlerBros.com. That's, again, they've got a great supply of polo shirts, T-shirts. We've got mugs, all kinds of swag. Check out their coffee as well. That's MahlerBros.com. And again, when you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you play good. And when you feel good, you'll have more fun at that party as well. So that's MahlerBros.com. Use the promo code BELLYUP, and we'll get you 15% off of your purchase. That is MahlerBros.com. Again, we welcome you to the Captain Lou Extravaganza. We are powered up, as always, by Belly Up Sports. Check out our website, bellyupsports.com. And you can see the complete list of podcasters that we have here on the network. Great shows that we're able to bring you every week. That's bellyupsports.com, as well as check out the latest articles on all that's going on in the world of sports. That is bellyupsports.com. Well, Freddie Freeman got his 2,000th hit last night against the Houston Astros. Will we get another 3,000 hit club member? That's the question. That's our poll question today, by the way. Major League Baseball's two of the three biggest milestones: 3,000 hits and 300 career wins. The other one being 500 home runs. I think that one will be attainable. The way analytics go now, you swing for the fences, home run or strikeout. I could see 500 home runs being hit. Right now, the career leader or the active career leaders in hits and home runs is Miguel Cabrera. He's at over 500 and he's got 3,119 career hits. Will we get another 3,000 hit member? And I think my answer is no. And, it's funny. It made me think about it over the weekend and, especially last night after Freddie Freeman got that 2,000 hit. Miguel Cabrera's got 3,119 hits. And the next person is 1,000 hits behind him. So I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Major League Baseball with the way analytics is now. But it begs me to ask the question again. Are we going to get another 3,000 hit member or a 300 win member? Now I look at Major League Baseball with the way they do analytics, as we talked about, swinging for power, swinging for the fences. They would rather see you get 3 strikeouts and a home run than hit for average. If you look at the active hit leaders right now in Major League Baseball, we talk about it with Miguel Cabrera at 3,119. Joey Votto is next, and then Nelson Cruz, Elvis Andrus, and Andrew McCutchen. Then you've got Freddie Freeman right at 2,000. All of those folks are all over 35 years of age. I don't see it happening. You have to go all the way down to Mookie Betts, who's 30 years old. He's got 1,381 hits. That means in the next 10 years, he's going to have to get 1,700 hits. It's not going to happen. And it's like Major League Baseball's 300 win plateau. Justin Verlander is the leader right now at 246. Then you got Zach Greinke and Max Scherzer at 224 and 208. They're both at 38 and 39 years old. Not going to happen. Clayton Kershaw, 35 years old, 206 wins. We will not see another 3,000 hit member or a 300 career win member in Major League Baseball. Not going to happen. The pitchers don't pitch but every 6 days, and Major League Baseball, with the way that they do analytics, it's not going to happen. We will not see another 300-game winner or a 3,000 hit member. Garrett Cole at 138 wins is 32 years old. Charlie Morton, 39. He's got 123 wins. You have to go all the way down. If you want to look for somebody under 30, it is Jose Barrios at 29 years of age. He's got 80 wins. Never again will we see a 300-game winner in Major League Baseball, and we will not see another 3,000 hit member in Major League Baseball. Not going to happen. Not with analytics. It's just the game is different now. So again, that will probably change the standards for Major League Baseball for thresholds to get in to the Hall of Fame. But enjoy Miguel Cabrera with 3,119 hits, as he will be the last one you'll see, at least in my lifetime, where you'll see somebody with 3,000 hits. Not going to happen ever again in Major League Baseball, unless you get a freak of nature, somebody that's going to play into their mid to late 40s. Not going to happen. Yeah, it's too bad, too, because I look at the home run leaders, the active home run leaders as well. Miguel Cabrera is at 508. The next up is Nelson Cruz to get to 500. We may not see another. I think we'll see a 500 home run hitter, again, just from what I talked about with the analytics, the way they are. Mike Trout is at 31 years of age. I think he'll get there. He's at 367. But I look at some of these other guys that are, maybe close. I don't know. Manny Machado, he's at 292, but he's 30 years old already. Aaron Judge is 31 years old. You don't think of it that way, and he's not even close. I don't see him getting there. Shohei Ohtani is 28 years old. He's got 152 home runs. So is he going to play till he's 40? At this pace, he might get it, but then you got to think with Shohei, is he going to eventually, concentrate just on pitching or on hitting? I mean, I love what I'm seeing out of him, but I just don't see him as a two-way player getting to either one of those, any of those 3,000 hit or 300 win plateaus. It's just not something that you're going to see anymore in Major League Baseball. The biggest, the biggest threshold of the big three, 3,000 hits, 300 strikeouts, or 300 wins, or 500 home runs. I think the one that might be hit again will be the 500 home run club with, the potential I said is Mike Trout. I think you could see it possibly happen. Some of these names that you haven't even heard of in a while. Evan Longoria at 341 home runs. He's 37 years old. Mike Trout, I think, has got a decent shot at it if he stays healthy. He's at 367. He's 31 years old. Giancarlo Stanton, he can't stay healthy. He's 33. He's at 384. Nelson Cruz is 42 years old, and he's at 464. The guy, I could see him getting maybe to 485, but I don't know. I mean, he's running out of steam. He's defying odds right now at 42 years old. I guess my point is it's going to take someone getting maybe into their mid 40s there to go as well to get that plateau. So again, that kind of brings you to our poll question here, as we talked about at the beginning of the show. Will we see another 300 win pitcher in Major League Baseball, or another everyday player get to 3,000 career hits? And our poll question right now, 47.8% of you say we will get another 3,000 career hit member. I don't see it. 26.1% say that we're never going to see it again. And that's where I lie. A 300 game winner, 8.7%. 20 of you say yes on both. No way. It's a great poll question. I love you can check it out. Follow us on Twitter at The Real Captain Lou. You can answer the poll question there, or on Facebook at the Captain Lou Extravaganza on our Facebook page. So again, poll question brought to you by Javi Coffee. Enjoy Javi Coffee, and also powered up, as always, by Belly Up Sports. Well, we talk about Javi Coffee, and we want to welcome them again as another member of the Captain Lou Extravaganza and Captain Lou Sports Network family. If you like instant coffee and you want something a little easier to use than pods and tasting better than gourmet, look no further than Javi Coffee. 1 or 2 teaspoons. That's all you need. You can drink it hot or cold. If you're one of those that loves cold iced coffee, which I'm kind of warming up to a little bit, but I still like my coffee hot, steaming hot. Well, I've got the answer for you. That's Javi Coffee. You can get it regular or decaf. You can get it in French vanilla, salted caramel, just to name a couple of the flavors. Check out the website, javicoffee.com. They've got some great deals on there, but you can get an even better one by using the promo code Captain Lou for 15% off of your purchase. That's javicoffee.com. It's a great answer to instant coffee. Again, easier to use than pods, tasting better than gourmet. It really does. And again, you can have it hot or cold, however you enjoy your coffee. It's full of protein. It's a great answer. It's a great way to get your protein in the morning as well. That's javicoffee.com. Use the promo code Captain Lou for 15% off of your purchase. Again, we welcome you here this morning on the Captain Lou Extravaganza here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Captain Lou Sports Network. We got a lot of interesting shows on there. You can check out some of our past episodes of the Captain Lou Extravaganza. We've had some great interviews there. Also, the ACHA Power Play is on the Captain Lou Sports Network. That will be starting back up a little after Labor Day. And we've got a new show that we're going to be debuting on the Captain Lou Sports Network. It's going to debut a little bit later on in the summer. We're going to tell you all about that on Friday. Really looking forward to bringing you that one. This is going to be another great, fun show for you to watch and listen to. And we can't wait to bring the news to you on that show. And that will be on Friday. We'll unveil our new show coming up on Friday. We'll tell you all about it then. Really excited to bring that to the Captain Lou Sports Network family, as well as the Belly Up Network of podcasts, as we are powered up by Belly Up Sports. So again, check us out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is the Captain Lou Sports Network. Well, we talked a little bit about this at the top, and I had a chance to watch the USFL matchups this weekend. Oops, sorry about that. I'm so popular getting phone calls. Again, I watched a little USFL on Saturday. I watched the Michigan Panthers take on the Pittsburgh Maulers, and it was interesting. I will say that the championship game is set for this coming weekend. It's going to be played in Canton, Ohio. They have neutral site games again this year. I know Birmingham was one site. Ford Field in Detroit was the other site. And now they're all converging on Canton. They had the semifinals there this weekend. Pittsburgh and Michigan played on Saturday night in a wild back and forth game. A lot of fun there. The Maulers beat the Michigan Panthers in overtime. And to advance on Saturday night. Then Birmingham, they took care of the New Orleans Breakers on Sunday, winning that one, going away 47-22. So sets up for a big game on Sunday with the Breakers, with the Maulers and the Stallions. Birmingham looking to go back-to-back USFL champions. Fun game, though, on Saturday night to watch back and forth with the Panthers and the Maulers. But what really caught my eye was some of the rules in the USFL. And what I want to know from you, or you can drop me a note at sweetlou1965@yahoo.com, or let me know on Facebook or on Twitter. Do you think the NFL will adapt any of the rules from the USFL? What I really liked about it, and I thought they did a tremendous job with it, was going to replay on some of the penalties. And what I liked about it was the efficiency. They hurried up, and it was under review. The referees got a note from from Los Angeles, is where the headquarters were. Mike Pereira had a hot mic. Well, it wasn't hot. Yeah, he was on the mic throughout the contest, and they reviewed the penalties. It was quick, and it was very efficient. It didn't take minutes to do. And it actually, in that Pittsburgh game against Michigan, I don't know if you watched it in the fourth quarter, Ellis threw a touchdown pass for the Panthers to put them ahead, but there was a flag thrown for face mask on the Panthers. Well, they went to review and showed that it was not indeed a face mask. He grabbed jersey and not the face mask, and so they overturned the penalty. And next thing you know, they counted the touchdown. Michigan went ahead. Now, they eventually lost in overtime, but it was back and forth on that. And it ended up Pittsburgh went ahead 27-24. Michigan went down and kicked a field goal, a last-second field goal to set up the overtime. And that overtime was weird. I gotta admit, it was an overtime, was kind of a hockey shootout feel. I don't know if I'm really up for an overtime where you go to 2-point plays to determine a winner. Now, what they did was they had the coin flip like they do for overtime in college and pro or whatever, high school. But what they did was whoever won the flip had the choice to go offense or defense first. In a shootout style, they went for two. There was 3 chances for each team to make a 2-point conversion. Birmingham made the first 2. Michigan couldn't connect on either one of their first 2. So Birmingham won in overtime 31-27. Now, I'm not sure I like that. It's one of those things. It's like the hockey 3-on-3 and then the shootout in the regular season. You play 60 minutes to determine a winner, and then it's 1-on-1 for a shootout after 5 minutes of 3-on-3. Now, I know kind of why they do it. They don't want it, to cut down on the injury possibility. They don't want it to go on and on and on. I'm more of a fan of, I would rather see personally, I don't mind the college format of going from the 25-yard line. It makes you work for it a little bit. At least you can get a field goal out of it. The shootout thing, kind of from the 2-yard line with the 2-point conversions, I'm not a big fan of. It was interesting. I get it. It's a novel concept. They kick off from the 20-yard line. I understand that. But overall, I enjoyed the game. I thought they had a good crowd in Canton for the Michigan Panther game. But I'll check it out on this weekend for the championship game. It's going to be Birmingham and Pittsburgh. I probably will put a few shackles on Birmingham. I'm not sure what the line is on that game, but that'll be interesting to see. So Pittsburgh and Birmingham for the USFL Championship game, that's set. And, we'll have to wait and see on that. Well, that's going to do it here for our show on Monday. We hope that you enjoyed it. We appreciate you taking time out to check us out here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube, and, of course, on the Captain Lou Extravaganza, powered up by Belly Up Sports. We're going to have a Pro Wrestling Wednesday again this coming Wednesday. A big pay-per-view for AEW this past weekend. Forbidden Door coming up for the WWE will be Money in the Bank. We're going to talk all about that. Dylan Abear is going to join us from the World Elite podcast. He's one of our big wrestling insiders. We'll preview and we'll take a look back at the AEW show. We'll preview what's coming up for Dynamite this Wednesday. And, of course, we'll get you set for Money in the Bank live from England this coming Wednesday. So ought to be a good show there as well. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on the Captain Lou Extravaganza. Again, this reminder, keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. Hey, and don't forget real quick, our poll question again, follow us on Twitter. Will we see another 300-game winner in Major League Baseball or another 3,000 hit member in Major League Baseball? You can answer it on Twitter or on our Facebook page, the Captain Lou Extravaganza. All right, again, thanks for joining us here on the show. We'll see you Wednesday for another edition of the Captain Lou Extravaganza right here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. So long.